DZ Sports Talk Show with Ed Smith and Javon Adams. My name is Javon Adams. You can call me J or J Love. That man next to me is the one and only Ed Smith. He not only played professional baseball, he also played in the National Football League and he is vested. He played on that first Super Bowl bound team for the Atlanta Falcons, and that vested is really something that we've been talking about a little bit lately. That really it makes a big deal. Man, what's good with you? How you doing, man?
Hey, man, it's been a minute, but good to be back on. And, we've been doing our thing in the background, getting it in away from the cameras and everything. But, yeah, it's good to be back on, man. A lot of stuff happening in the sports world. A lot of stuff, it seems like off the field, not even necessarily on the field or court. So we got, some good stuff to chat about.
Before we get into all that, happy birthday, dude. Happy birthday, fool.
Hit that double nickel. Hit that double nickel, bro, and it's a blessing, man. I cannot, the older you get, the more you appreciate it, in my opinion, man, because, nothing is promised. No tomorrow is promised, but I've been around this earth 55 times, and God bless me to have a beautiful family, great friends, and brothers like yourself. And like I said, every day makes you more, I appreciate it more. So thank you for being a part of my journey, bro.
Oh, good, man. It's interesting because I remember being when you're 17, somebody who's 30, man, you're looking at them crazy as if they're from another planet. When you become, let's say, 30, you're looking and saying, man, 45, I don't know how I'm going to be. Am I going to be aching? I mean, what's the deal? Then you hit 45 and you say, you know what, just give me as many summers, just give me as many as there's that saying, there was a joke or a saying from, she was on the, what was it, the show? Anyway, there's an actress that said something, she was talking to Dion Cole and she said, it was her birthday, and Dion had said happy birthday to her. And she said, do you know how many summers I have left? Because in essence, when you think about the number of life expectancy and stuff, so it's a matter of trying to maximize every summer, because some people only get 77 summers. Some people get 80 summers. And if you know, you know. So that's what I want to say.
Well, a couple different things. One, we just lost a great football player and probably a great man to his family, Larry Allen at 52.
Yeah.
So we just never know. The other thing is, I keep up with a lot of my old teammates, and I forget sometimes there's a few of them that are a couple years older than me. And, we all celebrate birthdays on Facebook and stuff like that. Now, one of my great homies, I just saw he just turned 58 a few days ago. I'm like, damn. I mean, that's when you start thinking about it, because he's one of my contemporaries, man. That reminds me, I'm not too far from that 6-0 as well, But yeah, that's when you start realizing, the people around you, like, damn, I didn't realize, he was 58. Golly. So
indeed. Well, happy birthday, man. Enjoy your day. Go get all that free stuff you need to get. You mentioned contemporaries. All right, we just gotta since we've had our little early summer break, it's been all kinds of stuff going on in terms of with the WNBA getting a lot more being much more in the spotlight. So really being one of those topics now on a lot of talk shows, and whether it's on television, whether it's on radio, on the podcast, whatever that might be. And of course, a lot of that attention comes from Caitlin Clark. Because she's the phenom that just came from Iowa, and so she's a rookie now, of course. And there's been just a lot of conversation about the way in which she's being treated, I guess you could say, in air quotes, or just what people from the outside looking in. And when I say people from the outside looking in, this is one of those things. And I do agree when people say, I subscribe to this theory, is that these people, a lot of the fans, the core fans of the WNBA, they already been there. And then all these new eyeballs are coming in, and we don't know. So we're not we're just looking at the very surface level of things, as opposed to getting beneath the surface to understand players and the way teams play and maybe rivalries and all that stuff. But there's been a lot said about jealousy when it comes to Caitlin Clark, some hard fouls, and Kennedy, I forget her last name, Kennedy
Clark, I think. Kennedy Clark.
Yeah, that wasn't some egregious. I mean, it was a hard foul. Don't get me wrong; it should have been a flagrant, but it wasn't as if the whole league should crumble. But I wanted to get your thoughts on just the Caitlin Clark. Is it racial? I don't think it's racial, and the reason I don't think it's racial is because there's a lot of a lot of white women in the WNBA that are top tier athletes that are playing her or that are kind of indoctrinating her into the league as well. So it's not just the black players. And I heard a couple of people say, well, maybe it's because she's a heterosexual woman as opposed to there are a lot of gay lesbian women in the WNBA. But I just wanted just to touch on that. Just to, we'll touch on it more, of course.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll talk more about X's and O's. But I just wanted your thoughts on it.
It's such a complicated issue that. At the same time, it's very simplistic in my mind. There's so many different, I guess, angles you can look at the story from. You talk about Caitlin Clark, phenom in college. It was almost like she was anointed, like this is the GOAT right here. Everybody needs to bow down in respect. Right. So, and you're getting ready to go to this next league where there's a lot of women who have put in some time, bruh.
Yeah.
They've attempted to try to build a league. Okay, so Caitlin is coming. She's going to help bring eyeballs to it, but she didn't invent it. And I think what's happened is there are a lot of women who are in the WNBA, and a lot of fans in general, maybe some fans in general, are like, wait a minute, she's not the best thing since sliced toast. Yes, she will bring some eyeballs, but she didn't invent the game. And what happened, in my opinion, like I said, it was almost like she was anointed. Here she comes to save the day. And it's like, so the players are like, okay, we're going to show her what kind of league this is. So she's getting all the smoke. The problem I have is it's like in life, Jay, we cannot have our cake and eat it all the time too. Right. Every now and then it works out where, boom, best ever, walks into a situation. Okay, yeah, okay. But you can't walk into a situation beating your chest. And a lot of it, you look at, there's humility, right?
Yeah.
She is not the most humble person I've ever seen in my life. You see her out there with the wave, the thing with the face. She's bringing it, which I give her all respect. If you're gonna blow the smoke, you got to be ready for somebody to puff it back in your face every now and then. So with her coming into the league, and they're all her fans, like, here she comes. And then to not think that other players are going to be like, okay, we're going to put her in her place. I've been in leagues where I played professional baseball for 9 years. I went and played in the NFL. I know there are tiers of accomplishment. And I remember the hazing days when I was playing football, especially when these rookies came into the league, and when I came in, it was when they were still paying the rookies all the money. Remember? Yeah. It's now been reversed where, the rookies are slotted a particular salary. But when I was playing first round pick, like I remember, dudes get drafted number one pick, they're getting like $50 million right out the gate. And then you got veterans who are barely scraping by, and they're like, wait a minute, so you can bring this young kid in, give him all the money. Okay, we're going to show him. So it was basically a way to humble some of these kids. And that's what I'm seeing with the WNBA. A lot of these women are like, wait a minute, we've been here a long time. We respect her coming in, but respect our game as well. So, in the racial tone, bro, how a great dish has just a hint of paprika, just a hint of, cayenne, there with this whole situation, I can't deny it. There is a small hint of a racial element to it. And I wish we could step away from that because I don't think that shouldn't be the focus of it. But, when you're talking about something like this, there is going to be, people are going to talk about it. This young white girl coming in here thinks she's going to dominate this, primarily in African-American league. There's going to be a little bit of saltiness on the other side. So, it's one of those things where she's going, and, like that foul the other day, man, you got to expect that, to be honest with you. That's just something. If you're a rookie coming in, think you're going, you have the road that you try to develop here, there's going to be a lot of people waiting to knock you off the path. So, and that literally and figuratively. So she's going to have to earn her way and earn the respect of a lot of those older and veteran players. If she can, stay on the path, she does what she does, maybe be a little more humble, earn the stripes. And one day she'll be, they'll talk about her as one of the greatest to ever play the game in that league. And, professional basketball altogether. She's got a long way to go to do that. And, like I said, it's one of those things where I'm cool with where it is, meaning where she's going to have to earn it a little more. You look at like what she did in college. Okay, that was college. Yeah. Now it's time to go to this next level, and we'll see what you got. I just wish, and maybe it's because we have a down cycle right now, news cycle, Jay. But there are a lot of people using this topic and get Caitlin to jump on one side or the other. And everybody's got an opinion right now. And obviously we're talking about it, but a lot of people use it as an agenda rather than just a sports story. And that's something you and I try not to do. It's not an agenda for us. We're just talking about it because it's an issue being out there and stuff like that. If you watch ESPN and all the other lettered networks, a lot of others are using it as an agenda. That's the part that I hate the most. But whether I'm not watching the NBA, it's not my thing. I'll watch some of the highlights and we'll see where the story goes. But, like I said, she's got a long way to go and we'll see where it goes from here.
It makes me think of a couple different things. I would imagine that if you were playing tight end, who was over you? Was it a linebacker that would line up against you most of the time?
Or defensive end, linebackers, just depending on the formation. Yeah.
So let's say you come to a team and the GM is saying, we got the best, we got the best linebacker out there. This man, he is incredible. He is amazing. He is going to take us to the promised land. And you line it up, and you thinking, wait a minute, let's say you just came off of a Pro Bowl season, or you've been here and you've been helping to create the foundation. And I think it's human nature to say, oh, they say you the man? Oh, okay. Put him on me, coach. Put him on me. And we're going to see. And you may ultimately end up shining through and overcoming and then proving to me, in this case, that that you should be respected. But that takes time. It doesn't take a practice. It doesn't take a week of games. It doesn't take 2 weeks of games. It could take a season or two. And it also makes me think of coming from my world, coming from the world of music and hip hop. I can remember my man now we're in the group together. My man Kane, he was in a different crew. I heard that he was this crew, this dude Kane over there, he's ill. He can freestyle. He get you, Jay. Wait a minute, what? So I walked up on him and said, what's the deal? I mean, and that is just, if you want to be the best, you have to go through sometimes those get your mettle tested in a lot of ways. And sometimes if other people are putting that on you, maybe it's the hype that comes along. There's so much hype. And you want to see, is the hype real? And I think that's what's going on right now. And it's happening. You mentioned that you saw it in football. It's happened in basketball. Michael Jordan had to go through getting knocked on his butt for 2-3 seasons before he ultimately overcame. And they said, all right, well, I guess you got his superpowers now. We can't stop him. We thought we might be able to break him by being really rough with him. And I think that type of rite of passage in a lot of ways is what we're seeing.
Well, it's twofold as well, Jay, because you have to win the respect of your teammates as well as the league, and it's different with your teammates. They want to see if you you get all the, we've seen the rookies come on board and stuff like that. And you got to remember, like this, I'm dependent on this guy. Let's see if he's got it. There's all this hype and everything, and so, part of it is you have to earn the respect of the guys you're playing with. And then what happens, you go out and you show the stuff behind it. Because what people don't see a lot of times is the blood and the battle and everything on practice time against your peers on your team wearing the same color. And then all of a sudden guys they have an opinion. This dude's all right. He's going to be okay. And now we got his back. And now we get to play together out there against the other ones. Yeah. Now we're going to battle together, right? And what happens? They got your back. Or if you come in and you're soft and you're not done, then dudes are like, man, what's all this hype about? They're talking about it. He's sitting over there making all this money and not going to try to earn it. Meanwhile, so you get the guy who doesn't have the support of his peers, and he's out there battling on an island alone against the other, however many are wearing the opposite color. So that's why sometimes it's so complex. It's not just as easy as, well, he's coming in, let's see what he can do or she can do. There's all those other factors as well.
There are a lot of a lot of folks have that Kobe Bryant mentality, that Michael Jordan mentality, where they want to break you. We'll see if I can break you. If I can't break you, then you're good.
Yeah,
that's what's happening right now, and that's and I think because we're looking in, where a lot of people are just pulling up to the party, as they say, and we saying, "Oh, that's." How come y'all? I thought y'all acted different. No, we've been this way. This is how it go. Y'all just need to get on board and roll with it. Because if not, then you just do something else. But so go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm keeping an eye on a lot of her facial expressions, bro, because sometimes like she'll take those hits and fall down, and it's almost like, "What are you doing? Why are you hitting me?" Instead of like jumping right back up, and so now it's poor me when when you were the king of when you were the big lion in the small jungle, it was like hear me roar. Now it's a little so I'm keeping an eye on how much. Like development I see even just in her reactions and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's definitely a journey. So Easy Sports Talk Show. He's Ed Smith. I'm Javon Adams. So we got the NBA. The NBA Finals, they start on Thursday. Who you got? Pretty simple. Who you got? We got the Boston Celtics are going to be taking on the Dallas Mavericks. Who you got? I want to say I've heard some strong arguments for the Celtics, for no other reason that because the Celtics have so many shooters, you're going to have to bring that Luka will be on the perimeter a lot more as he's trying to follow those players, unless they, of course, go into some type of zone. But that way, you wouldn't want to do that, especially if you're going up against shooters who are hitting those threes. But that will tire him out a bit, and that will maybe expose him because he's not the best defender. But I don't know. Both of these squads, I lean slightly Mavericks, but with really no hardcore reason why. But I lean slightly Mavericks, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Celtics win it. They've had a great season, but we're always talking about that. Just wait, and not really wanting to fully buy in. But who you got in this series?
I'm a little worried about the Celtics because they're bringing back Kristaps Porzingis. And he's missed a boatload of time with that calf, and they were able to breeze through the East. Now you got to bring him back and incorporate him into the mix in the finals of all things. No ramp up time or anything like that. The Celtics are, they're going to have to figure this out a little bit. And what happens? The Celtics are very wishy-washy at home. And we know they have home court advantage. The one thing they can't do, bruh, in my opinion, you can't lose home court advantage in this series. This is almost like a setup. It's almost in these first two games.
It's 2-3-2 again, right? Is it back to the 2-3-2 format?
I want to say 2-3-2, yeah.
Okay.
But for whatever reason, it feels like a setup. Bringing Kristaps back in, they end up losing either game 1 or 2 at home, and then we'll see where the chips fall from there. But I'm actually, for that reason, because there was no time to bring Kristaps back in and kind of incorporate him and find out how many minutes we're gonna get from him. Is he game ready? Or if he tweaks it again, now you put all this time into adjusting and bring him back, and he's gone. There's so many things that will factor in, and for that reason, I'm leaning Dallas. And I'm hoping for a great series. And I think we'll get one. The ratings probably won't show it, but I think we'll get one.
I don't think the ratings will show it at all.
They won't. But I think we're going to have a good one. And like I said, for the reasons I just mentioned, I'm leaning Dallas. But, the Celtics could come out here and put it on them. But I'm leaning Dallas right there with you, man. Something about, like I said, the craziness of he missed all that time. Yeah. Now you're bringing him back in. And it's the unknown factor, but it could be subtraction by addition, something like that.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah. One thing that we both mentioned this, and I want to try to get away from this more because we're not in the executive suites looking at the ratings and saying the rating was a 5.2 instead of a 7.3. I think the big I think a lot of talking heads get mixed up in this. Did you see the ratings? If you like the sport, if you roll with the sport, then you roll with the sport. You know what I mean? And what I mean by that is that if I love hip hop, if Redman is one of my favorite artists, it would be great if 2 million people bought the album, but I like it. And so I like it. I enjoy it. So I'm going to do it. And I'm not going to keep talking about what you didn't do and try to bring up your shortcomings as opposed to emphasizing or focusing on the positive. But if we're just looking at it from a storyline, we know with Kyrie going back to Boston, I think the Mavericks are going to get game one. I think it'll be close, and Boston is going to be upset. They're going to be upset. This dude going to come back, and you're going to let him go up. We down 0-1 to Kyrie? Even if Kyrie goes 0-4, it don't matter because he on the squad, and that becomes more of a story in that way. But if they bet Celtics better not go down 0-1 because that'll put all kinds of pressure on them.
Well, you know me. This is my time of the year in terms of NBA basketball. I don't watch the preseason. I'm talking about the 82-game preseason at all. Once the playoffs get here, I'm locked in, and I've been true to form. I've watched darn near every single game, minus a couple of those Eastern Conference sneakers. But I'm locked in, and regardless of the matchup, because I don't have a dog in the fight, but regardless of the matchup, I'm going to stay true to form. What I'm hoping for is just a great series and a fight. I don't want to see a sweep. I don't want to see a gentleman's sweep. I'd love to see this thing go 6 or 7 games, give us some excitement, give us some, reason to get locked into these last 7. Yeah, what I hate, man, is how they just draw this thing out. Celtics, when we're fine, by the time we play tomorrow, I think the Celtics will have been off for 10 days and Dallas for 7 or whatever it is. And to me, man, come on.
I get you. I know what you're going to say. Here's the argument that I take. Here's my support for it. So you're going into a season. You own Ed Smith Arena, and you just happen to Ed Smith Arena just happens to house the Dallas Mavericks. The Dallas Mavericks. So you trying to put butts and seats in that arena as often as you can. So you are saying, here we go. Here you're trying to fill it with different events. So I think those sometimes you just run up against, well, we need to have these set dates, not only for your TV partners, but also if I'm trying to make sure I'm making money off of this arena, I need to make sure that I can have the RV show outside, or I can make sure to have the Cirque du Soleil coming to my arena so I can get this money.
Yeah, there's a little thing said for momentum as well, though.
That's true.
I'm thinking about this, bro, because right now, with absolutely nothing going on, there's no football on the field. Yeah. There's anybody watching baseball, God bless you. There's not a whole lot other going on. This is prime time when you had that role. We watched, the Dallas, who made a pretty impressive run through the Clippers. You beat Minnesota, you beat OKC. Yep. You just would like to see that continue on, not, okay, we're done. We'll see in about a week and a half. And
I agree.
On the flip side, over in the East, we've seen just some bad Eastern Conference basketball. Celtics a sweep and 2 gentlemen sweeps, and it's like, okay, it's almost like you got that bad taste in your mouth. It's like, come on, it's like, so anybody got something, a piece of gum, something you want to like jump back in it because this series is very enticing. But the worst thing that could happen, in my opinion, you get this 10-day rest, 7-day rest, and then we end up having a 4 or 5 game series. And man, you're talking about just a flop, a stinker of a way to finish the season. When, like I said, but as you mentioned, it's a lot to do with schedule and stuff like that. It's hard to swallow, man, because it's one thing if it's one game. In the NFL, we get the 2 weeks, the bye week for the Super Bowl, and but we're getting ready to go into hopefully a 7-game series, but it's so drawn out. It's almost like they're lucky I ain't got nothing else better to do, Jay. That's all I'm saying.
I was thinking the same thing, but see, I'm like that because you're more locked in terms of being the more ardent, maybe a fan. I can't think of the right word right now, but I'm the kind of guy you say, hey, you call me and say, Jay, you watching the blah 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 playoff football game? No, I'm out on these trails, dog. What's going on with it? And so I was thinking when by the time Thursday comes, I may forget that there is an NBA Finals game.
Yeah, like I said, they're lucky I don't have other things going on. Otherwise, they'd have lost me in this 10 days, bro.
Oh man! Speaking of loss, we do this 3 times a week: Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Next week it will be I'm gonna be on a cruise. Pray for me. We're gonna be on a cruise, so we'll return to our regular schedule. But we'll be back on Friday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then that third topic we were gonna do today, we'll do that because we'll recap game 1 of the.
They're gonna be eating finals. That food, drinking that drink, playing that table. I feel you, bro.
I probably will jump on the table though. I gotta jump on the table, but them drinks, I'm gonna do that sparingly.
Some of that stuff is all inclusive. I mean, when you go on a trip, man, enjoy it. I'm just.
Enjoy it. Yeah, we'll see how that go. But make sure you tell a friend about what we got going on here. EasySportsTalk.com, EasySportsTalk.com, and like, subscribe, go to our YouTube page, which is at the Easy Sports Talk Show, at the Easy Sports Talk Show, and as we always like to say around this time, you can